Annex A.5.18, access rights. Right before we start, do me a favor. Open whatever tool you use to pay people. Now open your cloud console, your code repository, and your customer database. Count the accounts in each. Are the numbers the same? They're not, are they? That gap, that's the whole control. Everything else is paperwork about the gap. Here's what the standard actually says, and it says it in one sentence. Access rights to information and other associated assets shall be provisioned, reviewed, modified, and removed in accordance with the organization's topic-specific policy on access control. 4 verbs: provision, review, modify, remove. Companies are magnificent at the first one, genuinely world-class. Somebody joins on a Monday, and by 11 in the morning they've got the shared drive, the ticketing system, the customer database, and, for reasons nobody can explain, the billing dashboard. The other 3 verbs: bless. And notice the last bit of that sentence, because people skip it. In accordance with the organization's topic-specific policy on access control. That's Annex A.5.18 next door. 5.15 is the policy that says who should get what. 5.18 is the plumbing that makes reality match the policy. If you've written a beautiful access control policy and never once checked whether your systems agree with it, you have written fiction. Nicely formatted fiction. Quick question people always ask. Is this one of the new ones in the 2022 version? No. Sorry, it's a merger. 3 controls from the 2013 version got squashed into this one. User access provisioning, review of user access rights, and removal or adjustment of access rights. So if you certified before, you already owned all of it. It was just spread across 3 separate boxes, which made it much easier to lose. Now let's make this real, because abstract access control is where good intentions go to die. 12-person software company sells scheduling software, and there's Dave. Dave is the person who does everything nobody else has time for. Dave runs the deployments. Dave onboards the new starters. Dave has the password to the thing that everybody has agreed not to talk about. Dave is not a bad person. Dave is a single point of failure with a laptop. Joiner. Somebody starts. What does 5.18 want? It wants the access to be authorized by somebody who owns that information before it's granted, not after. Not by Dave, quietly at 6:30 on a Friday because the new person was blocked. The owner of the customer database says yes to the customer database, that's it, and it wants a record of that yes. 12 people means this is a form, one form. Not a workflow engine, not a procurement project, a form, a named approver, and a folder where the forms end up. If your access request process needs a project manager, you have gold-plated it, and I will personally point and laugh. Mover. This is the one everyone forgets, and it's the one auditors love, because it's where the evidence gets awkward. Somebody moves from support into engineering, they get the code repository. Do they lose the support console with every customer's personal data in it? In most small companies, no, they keep it. Because removing access feels rude and because nothing breaks when you don't. That's the whole problem with this control, by the way. Nothing breaks when you don't do it. Nothing breaks right up until the moment everything does. So accumulation happens. Person joins as a junior, ends up 3 years later as the accidental owner of every system in the building. Not through ambition, just through never having anything taken away. That isn't a promotion. That's sediment. Lever. And here we get to failure mode number 1, the classic, the one I'd bet money on in most small companies. If somebody leaves, their email gets switched off within about 90 seconds because email costs money per seat. Funny how that concentrates the mind, but the code repository seat, still there. The cloud console, still there. Application programming interface key they generated in 2023 that's hard-coded into a script. Immortal. It will outlive all of us. And when the auditor asks how quickly access is removed on the last day, the honest answer is often, well, it depends who notices, which is not a control. That's a rumor. Right-size it. For a 12-person company, the lever process is a checklist with every system named on it. one owner, and it happens on the last day. Same day, not same week. And you keep the completed checklist, because a leaver checklist with a date on it is genuinely one of the strongest bits of evidence you can hand over. Failure mode number 2. The access review that never happens. Everybody writes quarterly in the policy. Everybody quarterly sounds professional. Then you get to the audit, and the auditor asks for the last 4 reviews, and you have precisely one from 11 months ago in a spreadsheet that somebody started and abandoned halfway down column B. Here's the honest fix. Don't write quarterly. If you're going to do it annually, write what you'll actually do, and then do that. A control you perform twice a year and can prove beats a control you promised 4 times a year and ghosted. The standard does not hand out points for ambition. And when you do the review it with the person who owns the system, not with Dave. Dave will look at the list and say, yeah, that all looks about right, because Dave granted every single one of them and cannot possibly be objective about his own homework. Failure mode number 3, and this is my favorite because it is so human. There was an incident 18 months ago. Everything was on fire. The customer was screaming and somebody gave a developer full production access at 2 a.m. to fix it. Correct decision. Genuinely the right call in the moment. They still have it. Nobody removed it, because removing it was nobody's job, and because in 18 months it has quietly become load-bearing. That temporary access is now part of how the company works. Emergency access with no expiry date isn't emergency access. It's just access with a good origin story. So build the expiry in. Temporary means temporary, with a date, and somebody checks. That connects straight to Annex A.5.18, privileged access rights, which is where administrator-level power gets its own tighter rules. Also worth a look, Annex A.5.18 on identity management, Annex A.5.11 on return of assets, and Annex A.6.5, responsibilities after termination or change of employment. They all lean on each other. 5.18 is the hinge. One more thing, suppliers and contractors count. The freelance designer from last spring with access to your shared drive is a leaver too. They just never had a leaving due. So here's the dare, and it takes 20 minutes. Pick your 3 most sensitive systems. Export the user list from each one. Sit down with your payroll list next to it. Go through them line by line and name every single account out loud. Every one you cannot name or cannot justify gets removed today. Not documented, not added to a backlog, removed. Down how many you removed and put the date on it. That number is either a good story or a very uncomfortable one. Either way, it's evidence. And in the second case, it's the most useful 20 minutes you'll spend this quarter. Go and count.